Welcome to Unscripted, a new category of the Different News podcast, where we dive into the unedited, unfiltered conversations that matters.
A very good evening to all of you. Welcome today in this special episode of Unscripted, the unfiltered conversations on this fantastic day of celebrating International Women's Day. As you can see, we have our special guest of honor with us, Professor Shaswati Sen. She is into Department of English from University of Maryland, is Shore, USA. Welcome, Shashwati. It is wonderful to have you here, and I'm
Wonderful
so
to be
glad.
here.
It is so nice to jam in, after such a long time, because
It
we do
definitely is. It definitely. Thank you for having me, Anisha Gargi.
Welcome, Dr. Shaswati.
Yeah. So we both, as well as our audience, first of all, today we are going to bog you with many questions because I think, as far as I know, your journey is fantastic, it is very inspiring. And Anisha, what exactly are you we talking today on the Unscripted? Can you just tell to our audience?
Hello, everyone. Happy Women's Day to one and all. And welcome, Professor Shaswati. So, Dr. Gargi, before we do anything, why don't we start upon Professor Shaswati's background with the audience because that makes more sense to or goes with today's theme and we can take it forward from here.
Yeah, so today, of course, thank you for giving me that clue. So today, actually, we are talking. We just thought that we will chat on a very important aspect that is, and most talked about thing that is career break. So, so Shashwati, I would really like you to tell your journey, and it's a fantastic journey. And before you start, let me tell to my audience that uh, what Shashwati is for me, and I mean both of us in that way. So we are partner in crime. First thing, she is my friend, philosopher, guide from a very
Oh,
very long time. Like
1990s, right?
yeah, I mean
That's
I think
almost
before
like
that,
three
yeah,
decades.
yeah, of course, like it's we are from the same school and the same place in India. So fantastic.
Same
Yeah, so
hometown.
absolutely. And we were popular for different reasons. Let's not
Very
talk about.
different reasons.
Okay, so Shashwati, we are very eager to know your journey and right from that small town, your education, and I know you had a thriving academic career and a quite a long career break, and today you are at University of Maryland. I'm so proud of you. So, but
Oh,
please
thank
tell
you.
your journey. Yeah.
Um, well, Gargi Anisha, I will start by saying I think since we're doing it on International Women's Day, for every little girl, um, the parents' confidence matters a lot. How you're raised, what are your morals, what are your principles that your parents given to you. I think that takes us a long way, even when you are an adult, a professional, whatever you're learning outside, whatever you have learned um, as a kid, as a little girl, that matters a lot. So I come from a very strict family. My mother is a musician. My father is an engineer, but he pursued his career in government jobs. So I grew up having to maintain certain standards by which they lived their life, and that has helped me a lot. I studied literature from University of Calcutta. It seems like history now. I passed out in 2002, and immediately started a job back in my hometown. I was teaching in both the colleges where one of the colleges where I went as a student and another college back there. So that was the starting of my career. So it started very smoothly. I didn't have to go to a lot of interviews and try to prove myself to people who did not know me. So I had that benefit of doubt given to me by people who knew me. So of course a formal interview and everything, but your alma mater kind of knows who you are. From there, I got married, I think 2004, a bit of a break, like a 6 month or a year break. And then wherever I moved with my husband, I have worked. So, like in Bombay, I used to work in this school called Oxford International. And in Delhi, I worked for almost 3.5 years in Khaitan. But I could not go back to college teaching because I had a little kid in 2007. And though there were no societal pressures for me, but I couldn't. To be very honest, I couldn't live a little, like, 6 months, 7 month year old. I wanted most of my time to be spent with her. So that was like a 1.5, 2 years career break. And then it was not very difficult because being in academia, you kind of don't give up reading, you don't give up teaching. It's easy to get back after 1 or 2 years. And I worked for about like 8 years after that. And then my husband decided, he was in the industry, he's a marketing professional. So he decided after 12 years of service that he was done with it, and he always wanted to teach. So he wanted to move to academia, which was blissful for me because both partners in the same profession always helps. So he decided to do his PhD, and we relocated from India, Delhi, India, to Lincoln, Nebraska, uh, exactly 11 years ago now. So I took the career break because there was always a choice that he does his PhD here and I stay back and do my job, and which was suggested to me by a lot of friends, my seniors, my work seniors too. That is generally what happens when you have a more or less settled, successful career. You just don't, give it up. But then again, I'm a literature person. It's everything. Everything is high voltage for me. So I was like, I did not want my kid to grow up with only one parent. And she's also an only child. If there was a sibling, maybe I would have thought it's easier for both siblings to be there. So immediately after 6 months after he was here, I moved to join him. I quit my job. I had a wonderful senior, at my job, who, like our headmistress, who gave me a window of, if you want to come back and rejoin, you can do that. And I would always be grateful for her because when you have that kind of support, it's not, even if you're stepping into an unknown territory, you have that support back home. That, okay, if this is not working out here, I can always go back and get my job back. But then it has been, I did not work for 10 long years, a decade almost. And it was not planned. I only thought that I would not work for 4 years. And as soon as my husband joins a university here, I'll go back to work. That didn't happen because pandemic happened. And everything, visas and stuff, everything got, a backlog. So what I was supposed to do, I was supposed to join back in 2019, but I had to wait until 2023 to get my visa through so that I could join. So I think I joined University of Maryland Eastern Shore in 2023. A little bit trivia about that. It's an HBCU for the uninitiated. HBCUs are historically black colleges and universities, and it's one of the top six HBCUs in the country. And in I think in 2013, 2014 ranking, it's the 14th among all the 78 colleges, HBCUs in the country. And it has been a wonderful ride ever since. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think uh, while you spoke about your journey, I am sure that it seemed like a very smooth transition, but I think there are a lot of backstories that we can understand. But thank you so much. I think your story and what you are doing right now at present is going to inspire many people out there. Thank you
I'll be
once
very
again.
glad if it does that. Thank you.
Yes, Anisha, you can just tell us that about your journey a bit and how you actually, came back to work. Was it faster? Was it less faster? What things would you like to share about your career break? Because I think I know you had one, so I think then we can go and deep down into it and ask Shashwati a lot of questions.
Yeah, thank you. So I didn't take career break exactly in traditional manner. I'm a dentist by profession. I was practicing clinical dentistry till 2021, and then I kept working till 7th month of my pregnancy. After that, I just switched fields because I wanted to be with my child. That was a clear point for me. At the same time, my career is something that doesn't allow me to go and work. Like I had to leave the kid and go clinical if I have to do clinical dentistry. So because one of my specialization was radiology and I was already practicing it, it was easier for me because that allows work from home, remote working. So what I did was I started off. I was already working as a radiologist. I continued that part of my work and the clinical dentistry part I discontinued. So in a way, I didn't exactly take a break, but yes, I had cut down on a lot of work so that I had sufficient time to spend with my child. That is one thing. And yes, definitely it was not easier to navigate. Some days, yes, everything is perfect. The kid is listening to you. You're doing all the work. You have all the support in the world. And then there'll be some days, you will think everything is managed. Okay, I don't need any support. I'll manage everything. And nothing worked that day. So per se, it has been a roller coaster journey, but definitely a satisfying one because I consciously decided to take this break. And when the days were tough, I used to go through, is it just me or what others are doing? That is when I found out around 64, it's a LinkedIn survey, by the way, around 64% of women took career break. This is just one aspect of it. I'm sure even men take break and lot of others take break. But the women career break matters because most of them may not turn back. Half of them at least, they don't turn back to work after the career break, and many of them used to be the toppers of the class or very good in academia or whatever they are doing in the career. For some reason they're finding it difficult to come back. So this thought kept on in my mind. I was reading some, and I definitely needed guidance at some point. Still I need it. So this is definitely a learning curve for me also, today's session for all of us.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anisha, for sharing your journey because I think I know you from quite a long time, and we have been together professionally also and personally, of course. So Shashwati, this is in context, just taking as much I have seen Anisha at certain points, like when it comes to career break, there is an aspect of you know uh, getting marked, like if you are emotionally downtrodden, something not what maybe not always other people are telling, but by ourselves we think that you know um, uh, maybe it is not a good thing or it is a bad thing. I'm just getting behind. So what would you like to tell people that how exactly can this kind of emotional turmoil could be handled in a better way, so that the as I mean it impacts the person in a positive way rather than creating all this FOMO and stuff like that. So I think it would be very
That's a
interesting.
wonderful question, Gargi.
Thank you.
Piggybacking on what Anisha said, is 64% or 63, did you say? Women, and I did the same research a little while ago because we were having this discussion. Only 40% of men take a career break, and that is also because they want something better or to move to a different career or looking for something different which they're not getting currently in their work. So with women, the emotional roller coaster that is a career break is always there because primarily I think it's data proves that women mostly take a career break when they are married or have a kid. So there's this societal pressure or expectation on a woman always of being the primary caregiver. Even if you were the first in your class, the topper of your class, even if you were having a smooth career before that. And the funniest part is, as women, we kind of support that. There is this feeling that, yes, we need to do this for our kid. No one will be able to do better for my kid than me because a mom, a mother, as a caregiver is possibly the best thing that can happen to a kid, which I don't believe in. A father can do exactly the same what a mother can, Emotionally, maybe a mother is more involved because she chooses to be involved. So if we can just wipe it off and say, men cannot be as emotionally involved as women. So fathers cannot be. But that's a big, if I may say, on this platform, it's a lie. If you invest, if you are ready to invest, you can be emotionally invest. So for
Of course.
women, when you are taking that break, even if there was no pressure from your family, even if your partner is extremely supportive, your parents are supportive, your in-laws are supportive, maybe you felt, which I that's why I took a career break. No one told me to take one. I felt I could not do it. I wanted to spend more time with my daughter. So did Anisha. But that is always associated with self doubt and insecurity. Or there are days when there are times of gratitude. Okay, I did the best thing for my kid. Look at how she's smiling. Look at how he or she's thriving. And then there will be phases followed by extreme insecurity about the decision. What would my life look like? What would my career look like had I not taken this decision? Did I make a wrong choice? Um, did I make the right choice? So, since we are more emotionally invested, I think the phases of insecurities are much more than what anyone else can face. So, what if you ask me? I did not think I'm not an insecure person by nature, as Gargi will vouch for. Whatever comes my way, I take each day by its neck and go at it. But when I came here, I was very sure I'd find something to do. I like to write. I have been writing since I was about 10 or 11, but I started publishing in my 20s. So I said, I'll write. I'll take this time to read. I am a voracious reader. I know I can read like 2 3 books in a week. I used to at the time. And I said, okay, I'm going to take this 4 years to read as much as I want, write as much as I want. But that did not turn out as that. I came from the capital of the country, hustling and bustling with people, strong friend group support, to a place where you could hear yourself breathing. And the general winter, I relocated in winter, and the general temperatures around in Lincoln, Nebraska in winter in centigrade is always minus. It's the lowest we can go down to is a minus 27 degrees centigrade. And that hits you like a full block of stone. Like, where am I and what am I doing with my life? So what I face, I think I can help women think that the insecurities will always be there. Even if you're the strongest person in the world, if you have given up something that really matters to you, you always will question yourself. The best part to not do that is tap into your inner strength and find that place. Okay, I did it for a certain reason. This was my priority. This is my priority for a certain time. Let me focus on this, and then I'll get back to what I was doing. It's difficult. Some days, if it's that time of the month, you are PMSing, you are completely bogged down. You're like, no, this is not this. I'm so angry with myself. Why on earth did I take this decision? And on some days, you will be the much saner version of yourself. You will be like, of course, I'm reaping the benefits. My child is much more secure. My family is much more secure emotionally because I took this decision. So it's all on you. You will have to find the time to spend with yourself, tap into your inner strength, and tell yourself all is well. You'll get back to it when it's time. So that's
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. Wonderfully, you have comprehended the thing. And what I personally believe and practice, is I have talked about it many times, that we need to accept our emotions. What we generally do, it's not only about career break, or like suppose, for me, I hadn't any career break as such for biological reasons, but I think my career break comes every 2 years because, business, and there is a lot of downfalls, and suddenly in overnight things change, and I have to reflect on myself. I take out time at least for 2 3 months sometimes, because I'm perplexed. I don't know what to do next. I mean, how do I come back again, or take my business at that where I left it? So what I'm trying to say from this entire thing is that what Shashwati also told is that we need to learn how to accept emotions. What we do try to do constantly is to fight that situation. That it's not happening, I'm not doing. So we actually lose on our present time. That is something which I personally have learned through experiences, and practice of acceptance is the best thing I think we can adapt to. So yeah, so I think that's a wonderful conversation is going on, and I think we have some guests who have some questions. I think Shashwati, if it's okay for you, we'll take it after a little while, and I think it will be wonderful if you do it.
Absolutely, whenever you think it's good.
Thank you. Anisha, that day when we were just discussing that we will do this episode and we were thinking to call Shashwati on the show, you were telling me something regarding like when it comes to pregnancy plans and something related to finances and stuff. So would you like to bring that topic up and see what Shashwati can help us in that as well?
I will start off with my own story. When I knew I had to take a career break, I was clear. I had planned my finances, I had all backup. It was the emotional part of it I was not ready. Finances, at least these days, most of the women are very much aware about their finances. They plan it. You're going to take a break, you'll plan it and all those things. And for me, it took quite some time. Even though I was working, I definitely had taken cut down on the number of hours I worked. So obviously that part I had to take care. Even then, there used to be days when I couldn't meet deadlines. I'm getting a call from the centers, they want the report, and my kid has some emergency, which is definitely not an emergency for others. And by the end of the day, I used to feel drained out that I'm not doing justice to neither my kid nor the work. Even though the centers were supportive, I knew what I'm doing. At the end of the day, they have to run a center because some patient is at the waiting for their report at the other end. So it was very much draining, and emotionally, I was not prepared to, uh, mother guilt, work guilt, everything was stimulating. So that part, if we can help our viewers. So
Yeah, I
I'll
think
tell
I
you.
remembered. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I remember one thing actually, Shashwati, when we were planning some courses and all, we do online courses and stuff. So I asked Anisha, okay, can you just record it? And I mean, I know her for quite a long time. I mean, she was never a shy person, and she'll be ever ready with things, just quick. But that time I saw that, like, she was she was not very confident, which was very surprising. But I think, but still, I think I kudos to you, Anisha, that you overcame that fear or whatever you had that point and you did it. So Shashwati, from this experience what Anisha was telling, so what can you add on, or what would you like to tell? Is there any way people can follow, or are there any steps or some guidelines probably that might help many who are listening today? Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, what Anisha said is very real. Sometimes, even with the best of help, you are drained. And you're physically drained because science, it's backed up with science. After you have a kid, your body undergoes a sea change. And that from there, you never get back to who you were before that, emotionally, physically. But coming back to, say, 90% of who you are physically, at least takes 3 years. You're out of shape, you're out of the active zone that you were, you don't have time for to go hang out with your friends. All those things that kind of rejuvenated you as a young professional, you have to cut off on those because you are kind of primarily focusing on your child. So then you don't have, even if you have the emotional support of your partner, I don't know, some of us live with our in-laws, if you have their emotional support of your parents, still you are a human being who needs their own source of support from things they enjoy doing. So if it's not that set of group of friends with whom you can go out and have a drink, have coffee, whatever is your jam, and or just go out and hang out with people, do a bit of street shopping, it's your own game. But I feel that after, it's a double blow, it's like a double whammy. You have had a kid, your body suddenly is like, what the heck is happening to me, I can't sneeze, things happen when I sneeze, I can't laugh, I can't, I feel suddenly emotional at 2 a.m. in the morning when I'm supposed to sleep. I'm sitting and crying, and have I lost it? What is going on? And then I don't have those friends anymore. I have them, but I can't go and seek that support because that is taking out from the time I'm spending with my kid. So, what I feel would help extremely, like taking from what Gargi you said, face your emotions, accept who you are. I will again go back into the fact that I am a literature person, and it's easier for a person who has studied a lot of literature. You have that support or guidance from women who came before you, how they did. Because if you are not ready to face those emotions you're going, because when you're undergoing those emotions, you don't recognize what they are, and you're mad at yourself. Like, why am I facing this? I'm not this emotional person. Why do I need ice cream at 1 a.m. in the morning? And I don't even like ice cream. And why am I feeling like yelling at my partner right now? He has done nothing. So you are kind of struggling with who you are at that moment. The best way to deal with that is face it, love yourself for who you are. But I, as a person, I love myself the most. When the world cannot love me, I don't care. I am my own best friend. So that is not what our girls are taught anywhere in the world. Now, with we as mothers, we have learned to teach our girls what we were not taught as girls. Our mothers, even though they were professionals, they always made it very clear that whatever you're doing, your career should not be your only focus. There's always that pressure. You're the mother. If you are not taking care of things, it will not have the same balance if the father only does that. So I feel, at some point, block out all the noise. Look at yourself in the mirror and see what you have achieved and be proud of yourself. That helps a lot. I tell it to all my students also, that you are enough. If you accept the fact that you are enough, you will start believing in that fact. What a lot of women in career break, especially when they have kids, go through is that self doubt. If that other woman is being able to be a CEO and the mother at the same time, how is she balancing? And her kids look perfect. They go to a private or international school and they speak perfect English. They have the perfect career drawn out. What am I doing wrong? The only thing is that you are not doing anything wrong. Your story is different from her story. Maybe she has a lot more support than you have, or maybe she is not as emotionally invested. I would not like to imagine or make presumptions, but to accept your emotions and tell yourself that, okay, it's fine. Whatever it is, it's now, it will pass. And this is who I am right now. Even if I don't like who I am right now, this is what I am. I'm a mess, but I will slowly get back at being outside of that. So I think that helps a lot. It helped me. But then again, I love myself, as I said, too much. But I think I preach that to everyone, all the friends I have, all the kids I teach. That is the main thing. Anything, even if it's not a career break, even if it's just a phase of self doubt when you're not doing that well at work. We know work politics. We know things like when you are deserving of a promotion and you were expecting and you are kind of told that you are the person who's being considered, a completely different person enters and takes it from you. And then you beat yourself up thinking, what did I do wrong? This was my cup of tea. So why did someone else come and get it? So it's not about you. Sometimes it's never about you. I think that helps a lot. If
Right.
I have been able to answer the question.
Yeah, of course. I mean, thank you for bringing fantastic points. I would like to add what Shashwati you were telling is that I think one aspect, like I have seen Anisha, I have seen my other colleagues whom I have worked with, because for everybody, like you say, that everybody's story is different. Because what Anisha could do, keeping her work going little bit, maybe in a slow pace, another colleague of mine couldn't do that because she had a lot of health issues. Like she got back pain suddenly and she couldn't, at times she couldn't get up. So there are different stories. So but what I feel there is a lack, coming from a medical and science background, I'll definitely like to tell that is about making women aware about these things. That awareness is quite lacking. We don't speak about it. It's only like, for example, Shashwati, today you are speaking, you are, because you have passed that phase, you already faced it. For Anisha also, and for many other women out there. So I think it is more important that we talk about the physiology of women, how it changes, and if we are aware, because I feel that knowledge is power, and knowledge gives us all the strength. So if we know this thing, maybe this is happening, so you have your logic behind your brain, your logic is working, and probably what you said, Shashwati, that self care, self love, maybe that becomes a little bit easier when we have the awareness. So I think that is something which I would like to add on. So
That's a
yeah.
wonderful point.
So Anisha, is there any take on this? You want to add on to something here? Yeah.
I would like to take from both of yours. As you said, you have seen me recording. I think you had to force me, literally force me to do a recording. And as you said, when you look into the mirror, that phase I wanted to highlight. I was aware physiologically as a doctor. I knew what would happen, and I had a lot of family support. I'm going to say that. Despite that, for some duration of time, I couldn't look into the mirror and see. I didn't want to see my face. So when it came to recording, when the first recording I completed, I used to record during the night, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, because that is the only time I used to get calm. So till I completed recording of that session, I did not want my face on the camera also. Even today, those two recordings that in that phase I did, I have not seen it. I couldn't watch myself doing it. So
No, but I
that is
think
when I say emotionally.
that is one of the best that you have done. That is one of the best recordings that you have done.
Yeah, I say take a leap of faith and go ahead and do it. That's what I wanted to tell people. It's very normal. It happened to me despite having all the support. That's what I'm trying to say. My parents were staying nearby. My husband was there with me, giving all the support. I have my cousins. I have a set of cousins who are always there with me. Like, I want something, they'll be there to give me all the support in the world. Uh, Despite all of those things, I couldn't look into the mirror. It can happen to any one of you. So you're not alone. You just have to, sail through that phase, and things will get back to as normal as possible. I won't say you go back to 100% of what you were before, but it's a new you, and you have more strength and courage. As a mother, I feel I have become more stronger and more mature when I do things. So it's a good phase, to be honest. But to
Right,
sail
right.
through that tough period is you should know how to navigate it.
So I think we have a similar story where one of our viewers have shared with us. I think she's from India, and I just want to take her name and thank you for putting your story out here with us. Smriti Muralidharan. I think it's a similar story. I'm not going to read the entire thing. Like she had hormonal variations. She says that, and she has exhaustion, and it was a really hard time. And the guilt of leaving a toddler behind for work, and the fear of being left out behind in career, so it all added to her emotional turmoil. And but I think now she has moved on, and she of this period of uncertainty and self doubt. And it's very nice to see her story here, that she's taking help from professional people, and she's moving ahead. And I think we all wish you the best, Smriti, for that. Now, with this clue, Shashwati, one question is burning in my mind. That is, I think that clue is put by Anisha only. Something we call as super mom syndrome, because women are supposed to be perfect everywhere, at every phase of life, because there are a lot of expectations, and not only I blame society or people all the time, but I think we also have an inherent problem of setting that, okay, I'm supposed to do this. I mean, nobody has told me to do, but I am supposed to do this. So um, anything you, and then ultimately it's more of a burnout phase that people go into. So Shashwati, what would be your insights about supermom syndrome?
It's a very real thing. Um, I think even before super mom syndrome, I think we women generally are kind of poised with this superwoman syndrome.
Right.
And I think it's years and years of being put down and said, stay back at home and take care of the kids because this is what you do best. You don't know what's going out in the world, and you don't know how difficult it is out in the world. Be happy that you are being cared for, that you are being protected. So I think for the last 50 or 70 years in India, we can say, since when women decided to go back to work, like with a vengeance, I think we do more because there's that inherent trigger when someone says, "Oh, you can't balance this and this." We, I think the word "can't" that kind of is a trigger for us, which I don't believe is stupid, because this is years of trauma, generational trauma women have faced in being told this is where your place is. And we, as you all will agree with me, I think, women don't do good with being told what to do. Like there's this joke which goes on that you can never calm down a woman by telling her, asking her to calm down. So we women don't do good with being told how to live our lives, even if our, maybe my great grandparents who were my great grandmother who was back at home, I don't think she did well with being told. So now what happens is, when we have everything in front of us, so we have the job that we worked for, some of us are maybe not doing what we wanted, but we are happy with what we're doing, and some of us are doing the dream jobs, and they have hopefully a partner and a family who's supportive. Then that thing goes, okay, why can't I succeed in everything? I can. I'm young, I'm strong, I can do this, I can do that. Maybe I'll just curtail my time of self-care a bit. I will not read that. For me it's like 30 minutes of reading before I go to sleep. Maybe I'll make it 20 minutes. Or maybe I'll not go to the salon and get a pedicure, which I need to relax. Or maybe I'll not go out with my friends and have that cup of coffee or the drink which I need to relax. So basically, we are what we are doing in order to be a superwoman or super mom, we are always curtling down the time we need to be happy or strong. So the superwoman complex or the mom complex, it's a real thing. But what I felt, um, I never had that. I am very, it's not like I have not made mistakes. I make mistakes every single, and I believe human beings are meant to make mistakes. It's only dogs and cats who are perfect, who can never make any mistakes. So I believe in making mistakes, but I am always very careful that I'm not draining myself out. Some days I do. Some days I'll come back from work. I have to drive 1 hour to work and back. So it's about 40 miles from where I live, and it's very common in this part of the United States. So it's a big thing. I teach for about 5 hours a day, and then before that, I finish whatever I need to do in the morning. I drive to work, and then I finish teaching, and it's a high octane job. Academia, if you know, it's like I teach public speaking and theater, both of which are very high octane classes. So when I come back, some days I'm completely drained. I tried. When I joined back after a decade, I tried, okay, I will make the healthiest meals possible, because like you must know, we don't have any help here. And the part of United States where I live, there are not many Indian restaurants or, takeouts where we can order on the day I don't want to cook. So I will cook healthy. I will plan my meals. I will do all the homework on a Saturday and do all the meal prep on a Sunday, so that my kid, me and my husband, we eat healthy. I tried that. It worked for a week. And then I was like, nope, not happening. I would order that pizza. I will get that burger. I will get the Chinese, because I have to live. If I have to teach and I have to succeed, and if I have to be happy when I am back at home, being a superwoman does not, if you even, history tells us, movies tell us that superheroes don't have any personal lives. We need our personal lives. So I think the best way to do not get under the influence of a superwoman or a supermom syndrome is remind yourself that you're human. We often forget that in our strive to be the best, to be the perfect person whom everyone will be like, okay, how well she is managing everything. No, if I may pardon my French, let shit happen. Let things be messy. Let the other person be the person to make that cup of coffee for you. Don't be that person who feels that I have to get up and do everything because I need to prove something. You need to prove nothing to anyone. Only thing you need to prove to yourself is that you're taking care of yourself. Because Superman or Superwoman or not, Supermom or not, if you are not taking care of yourself, it will build up slowly and then you will fall apart. And all of us know how meltdowns can be. So there's my two pences on that.
Fantastic, fantastic. So Anisha, is there anything you want to bring up, or then otherwise I'll just we are almost at the concluding part, and probably we have a couple of questions that I'd like to take up from our viewers. So yeah, is there anything that you want to add? Probably. You are on mute.
So one thing is, in today's generation, at least, the parents are hands-on parents. The fathers, I mean to say. So women, if you are struggling, just ask for help. They may, it's like a tube light. They may not voluntarily come and yes, 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 I'll take care of the baby. But if you ask, they're not going to say no. People who want to get back to work, you have to go back to work. Be prepared mentally that your household work is not going to be fixed between 9 to 6. This is for people who have to get back to work, and just be prepared for it, because we
Yeah.
have that mentality. Before pregnancy we will think, okay, this many months, if I give all the time, after that I'll go back to normal. That is something that's not going to happen.
Absolutely. So I think one thing before we take up the last question, and for Shashwati from our like our viewer who I think one thing which I have also seen that I have met many women while in terms of doing some career coaching, particularly when it comes to this writing career that we are into. So I see a lack of confidence. So one thing, it's not an advice, I would not say it an advice, but as Shashwati said, self love, as Anisha said, that you just have to keep yourself, moving. So there should be some ways to do that. So I really love the point Shashwati brought, that maybe you need not to be a literature person, but I think reading helps a lot, because it gives you it takes you to a different world altogether. So whatever kind of books you like, if you haven't read ever, you can use this point if you are, like, on a pregnancy break, or god forbid for any other medical issues, if you're on a break, that also could be, a thing. So I think reading, if it is feasible, I think you can start reading, because I that is kind of strategy I always take up for myself, and it gives a lot of clarity and focus. Second thing, work, be confident, and keep yourself updated in whichever field you are. So again, if you see, it come back to watching something or reading or learning. So I think as an in you get into this phase, instead of going deep down into a well, like I can see living examples here, like I'm seeing Shashwati, I'm seeing Anisha, I know Anisha very closely, I've seen what she has done. So I think it's all on you, how you utilize this time, because many people come back and say that we are not able to come back again on the career. Yeah, that is a real problem that's there. But as Shashwati said, that if you have that zeal, if you want to really, come back, so you just have to do things, and you only have to do things. Nobody can actually help you
So
in
true,
this.
so
Yeah.
true. It's totally on you. No one is
Right.
coming to save you on a shining white horse wearing a shining armor. The way earlier you realize that in life, I think we suffer less. And like Anisha, you said, which is a very important point,
Hmm.
how much ever you plan, may it
Right.
be having a kid, or for Gargi, I know you. For you, your career break is because you're a crazy genius. You get bored with what you are doing in 2 years, and you have always been like that. You are always trying to do something new, try to push your boundaries, and that's a wonderful thing. Some people will say that's crazy. Why don't you settle down for what you're doing? If you're successful in that, why do you need to do something new? But then, if you have that hunger in you, let me see if I can do this. Let me see if I can know this. Let me see what I can add to it. That's wonderful. And it doesn't always need to be to have a kid, or like you said, heaven forbid, for a physical reason, you always have to be mentally prepared that your planning is going to go down the drain like anything. You can't plan your body. You can't tell your body, hey, it's time. I gave you 3 months. Now work accordingly. No, it won't. So be prepared, plan. Okay, I'm not a planner, but plan. But be ready to see all your well made plans go down the drain and be strong enough to realize, okay, that's also good. That is a new thing. I'm learning a new thing. And for that, yes, reading, of course. But there are many people for whom reading
Yeah.
only works as a sleeping pill. Like you can't sleep, open a book, read 2 pages, you fall asleep. Do new things, whatever
Right.
those new things are. Sometimes in our struggle, especially in a country like India, where your academic career as a kid, you are reading like 10, 12 subjects as a kid every day. You have homework, you have competitive exams. So most of your young adult life, you're spending in doing things for your future. So we don't live in the present. So I think as an adult, whatever it is, it's a career break or you're just taking 2 months of mental health break, I find maybe this is my relocation to USA, which has taught me a lot of new things. Here, mental health is a big thing. I think back in India, we also are realizing that. But here, you have so much support. Like,
Right.
when I did not work for 10 years, one thing I did was I joined Harvard X. It's easy. In India, it's maybe, you have to pay and all that stuff. But here, you don't have to pay a dollar, a dime for auditing a course. So I did 7 courses as a person. Things never could do, things I wanted to learn, things I wanted to have an idea about. And that helped me get the confidence to get into publishing, because I didn't know anyone here. I'd never published in US before, just 2 or 3 journals. And doing this courses kind of gave me how easy it's to self-publish. Though I did not self-publish to begin with my first 3 books, but uh, it gave me a lot of support to let me know, okay, even if I'm not going back to work right now, if I can't, this is what I can do. I found out that I love to walk. In India, if you love to walk, there are those certain parks where you go, and there's so many people you can't find any mental peace walking. So you have to find things, and I found that about myself, I hated walking as a kid. My father loves walking. He used to walk 3 miles a day every day, just for the love of walking. I never did that because I was not comfortable. I found out here that walking along in trails with woods, forests, both sides, that kind of helps me think. So
Right.
it's too important to look at things or find out, try new things. That's why I say, Gary, you're a crazy genius, but you have a lot to teach women who think, okay, I have studied to become maybe an engineer. Why should I do an MBA? Let me not. Haven't I, kind of lost or underutilized all that money, all those years of work in becoming an engineer? And now I want to be an MBA.
Mhm.
No, do what you want. You have only one life. You will fail. You will not like it. Okay, go back to. You have that thing which you can go back to. And even if you don't have that thing you can go back to, you will make something. So
Absolutely.
that's what I feel.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for bringing up about your writing, and because I was just waiting to talk about it. Because here, to all our audience who are listening today, um, I want to tell you one thing, that here is a person in front of you who has utilized her time, whether it is a decade, and I think if Shashwati has taken would have taken 2 decades of break also, she would be the same. So Shashwati has written how many books?
I have published three volumes of poetry, and
Three
I've
books
been
of poetry.
working. Yeah, I have been working on my novel for almost 3 or 4 years now, but I'm kind of not yet ready to let my baby go still. So
I
I
know.
keep on telling every year that this is going to be the year that I'm going to publish it. So I am determined to publish it this year, but I can't promise anything. But one thing I can give you, that I think you're not aware of this. I was planning to do this. That
Yeah.
I have not yet talked about the name of my upcoming book with anyone. This is
Wow.
my little gift to you on Women's Day.
Thank
This is
you.
where I'm going to share the name of my first novel for the first time. So it's kind of like a thriller with shades of magic realism, and it's a psychological thriller. So it is going to be called All the Darkness Behind the Sun.
Wow, what a name! What a name! Thank you for sharing that for the
That's
first time
very
on
good for you.
Unscripted. It's a real honor for us, and thank you so much. And I think I'm sure you will publish this because you have come up with a name. Of course, you will publish
Hopefully,
this
yeah.
year. Yeah.
I'm not
And
being
we
able
will
to let it go. You have done research, so you know how your research or your writing, it's like your
yeah,
baby. Before you send
absolutely
it out to the world, you need to see that its hair has been brushed properly, and
correct,
it's taken care of. It's not leaking from anywhere. So, and
correct.
it becomes more difficult since, as researchers or as writers, you bide your time.
Yeah,
You want
yeah,
it to be perfect because people will, of course, kind of trash your writing like anything when
correct.
it goes out. You might have, especially for scientific research, you spend
Hmm.
hours and hours researching, working on it, and
Yeah,
then
Anisha is very good in that. I'm not good. I'm a good storyteller.
good, anything for any research or writing. I think there's always that chance that people will trash it. People will not like
Right, right.
it. That is
So,
difficult.
so Shashwati, the three poem books that you have already published, do you have a copy that you can show to our audience?
As a
Maybe.
matter of fact, I do have them. Let me see. Yep,
Fantastic.
yep. So this was the first book. This is a perfect book for International Women's Day. You can go ahead and get yourself a copy. It's called Between the Wolf and the Woman, which
Wow.
kind of all the poetry here is talking about how to recognize the wild in you, or with in simpler terms, how to recognize what's different in you and be unabashed about it. So it's about all those women who are having self doubt, and the women who never have self doubt, and also women who are kind of trying to realize the wild inside them. That's the first book. This one is the second one. This
Ah, I
is
have that. I
To
love it.
Love and Other Insanities. This is
Amazing.
my
Amazing.
most favorite book because my daughter has
Yeah.
painted the front and the back cover. She's a
Yeah.
painter, so I made her. She didn't want to. She was like, "Get yourself a professional painter. Don't depend on me. I don't know. I take a lot of time." I said, "Do whatever you want, but you have to do this book for me." So this is
Amazing.
her
I love
novel.
this book.
Yep, this is one I love too.
I
I
think
think
I think the day you gave
right?
me, I have read it in
I
an
gave
hour.
it.
Yeah, yeah, you gave me. Yeah.
And this is the recent one. This came out this January, I think, in the beginning. Yep, I think 31st. I got the news that they're publishing with it. This one is called "Objects in the Mirror Are Closer Than They Appear." So this is
Wow.
more like a verse of occasional poetry, basically. Um, Poems that talk about things that we do in day-to-day life. So this was
Mm.
mostly written back in our hometown, Berhampur, when this last summer. So almost out of
Wow.
21 poems, 15 poems were written there. Kind of when I was reliving my childhood. As you've known, my parents have recently relocated to a new apartment from, they have given up their house. So it was kind of those emotions going through. But I think I'm done with poetry for now. It's a lot of work. I Whatever I had, I didn't know I had 63 poems inside me. They're out now. So I'm going back to prose right now for some time at least.
And we will wait for this fantastic novel to come out, and we will eagerly wait for. I think we'll need to celebrate once you publish your novel again. You know.
No pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a good one. That's a Shashwati kind of thing.
Classic, yeah, I know. I don't work well under pressure. When I know I am the person who's taking a lot of time. But yes, I have said it will be this year, but then I'm a person who believes promises are meant to be broken. So I can't promise that this will come out.
So I think we have one. I'll take up. There's not much time. I think we have spoken a lot, and I think if people have enjoyed and taken a lot of notes today. If not, the takeaways. So I think we have a couple of questions from Faith Ruto. She is from UK. But I think I'll take up one question which I see is very kind of very pertinent. So Shashwati, we'd like you to answer this. Like she asks, are women from underrepresented background at a greater disadvantage when it comes to a career breaks? That is, our culture expects it, but not enough support to return or restart.
Well, that's a pertinent question and an important one. Well, again, coming back to what your expectations, societal expectations, expectations from culture are, they're kind of like a pressure on you. They kind of pull you back. But I will go back to the same topic of you being confident on yourself, and if you have learned to do something, you never forget how to do that, and you have to keep on doing what you're doing even when you are in a break mode, so that you don't forget, so that your edge is as sharp as it was when you quit work. So I don't think if you have all those things together and you go back to work, you will not need to prove yourself too much. And it's always good to go with the opinion and tell your recruiters that I'm a good learner, I'm a fast learner, and I have in me to give whatever is needed for the job. These are my qualifications and these are my strengths. So I have in me what it takes to make this job successful for me. Then I don't think women of minority who have other societal pressures will have any problem. But that is my take. I unfortunately have not faced anything as such, but I believe that that should be the case.
Thank you, Shashwati, for that wonderful answer. And I think, Anisha, is there any end note? And then we can close this conversation for today.
That's all. One Yes, there is one point I want to add. Actually, it takes a village to raise a kid, and today's nuclear life, you don't have the village; you just have the kid. So, like how we started with emotional planning and financial planning, maybe when you're pregnant, you can plan your support to get back to work, whether you can afford a maid, or whether it's going to be a play school, because even to drop the kid in play school you should be emotionally prepared, otherwise it is going to be a hell lot of trouble for you. You can't focus on your work even if you don't have any responsibility or of the kid at that time. And family wise also, yes, maybe not your family is supportive, but there is always help in the universe. If you really want to work,
True.
there's always help in the universe. Maybe not in the form of people that you expected, someone else. So if you can
Absolutely.
plan who is going to be your support post delivery, it is going to help you a lot. So
Fantastic.
that's
That's a
one thing.
that's a fantastic note. Shashwati, any last note, any message to the women out there, and of course, even men who take career break, because now today's discussion was more focused, of course, on women
Of
for
course,
obvious
it's
reasons.
International Women's Day. We are celebrating us.
Yeah,
We celebrate
absolutely.
men all too much every day. So this was our day. Yeah.
Yeah. So any last
Um,
message you would like to say?
the only thing I feel we all as women should know, we are very special. Biologically, we are the only gender that's allowed to create a life, and I don't think it gets more miraculous than that. So if we know who we are, if we recognize the strength, and if we lower the expectations a bit about ourselves, because we are the only people who pull ourselves back. So if we lower our expectations, first and foremost, try to be a human being instead of a woman. Try not to let your brain be bedazzled by those feminist and treaties that you have read. Yes, we need to work more. We are standing on the shoulders of women who have paved the path for us, that we can sit here. You are in India, I'm in USA, and we are sitting down here for last 1 hour chatting about our professional lives and how we did. So there were many women who worked before us to give us this place. Let's enjoy it a little bit. Let's be happy by what we have done. Of course, work more, pave the path for your daughters and their daughters, but don't take the burden too much out on your shoulders that you stop becoming a human being altogether. It's not about being a woman always, it's about realizing that I'm a human being and I need to be kind to myself. So let us all, this International Women's Day, let us all plan to be a bit more kinder to ourselves and also to other women around us. Not telling others that, this is what expected, starting with our kids, our sisters, our younger sisters, our younger me neighbors. Tell everyone to be a bit kinder on their own selves.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anisha. And I think it was wonderful chatting today on Unscripted. And I'm sure that this episode is filled with values and filled with a lot of takeaways and steps that you can follow. Or, of course, as we always say, the Unscripted is all about our own lives, how we face. And I think it's common things that we all share. And if you want to share your story, please get back and write it in the comments. Or if you have any further question that comes up watching this episode, please feel free to write in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe the channel. So with that note, I think we'll bid a goodbye. Thank you, Shashwati, Anisha. It was wonderful
Thank
speaking
you.
to
And
you.
let me give you both kudos for starting something like this. It's wonderful chatting with you guys, and it's wonderful to see that you're doing such relevant work. I'm so proud of you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye,
Thank you.
Anisha.
Bye bye. Have a wonderful day.